Great. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Faith. Good morning. Thank you so much for being available to participate in the conversation today. Um, Today is such a wonderful day that the Lord has made. For me, I always love to start with a Bible verse. And it says, "Blessed are we that go through trials because they are blessed." It means that there's something you're doing. When you go through a trial, it means you're working. It means you're trying new things. And I think this is the conversation that we're going to have today. So I'll just start off by introducing myself once again. My name is Sampa Salome Mwansa Chilambwe, and I'm a mompreneur, and I'm a big advocate for mompreneurs and female entrepreneurs. You know, this is something we as females, we as mothers, there's something within us that gives us that drive to push. And for me, I've got 3 beautiful children, and they make my day. So now I'm going to just hand over to you, Faith. You can do an introduction of yourself, and we welcome you on the stage today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sampa. Hi, everyone. My name is Faith Lilu, and I am the founder of Faith's Beauty Lab. So Faith's Beauty Lab is basically an organization that formulates skincare products and also teaches skincare and entrepreneurship. Yes, so that's basically what we do. So far, we've hit different kinds of milestones for our business, and we are just happy with how it's going. In February, we won a pitching session, which was giving out 5,000 kwacha. So we won that money, and it helped us to do some of our registrations because as you already know, like for you to actually run your business, you really need to do your registrations, and it doesn't come cheap, so you need all the support that you actually need. Yes, and then also we've hosted people from Nigeria to partner with us to teach skincare formulation from start. So that means the science of skincare formulation, making good products. We've helped different businesses to run their skincare business, to navigate through ingredients, and also just to be able to start and launch their businesses. So we've been helping different businesses start um, their skincare and hair care businesses. Yes, and right now we are actually doing some community work where we are teaching different people how to formulate. So we normally just go into communities and select certain people just to help them with some skills. So currently we are just teaching how to formulate soap for skincare. So about 2 weeks ago, we taught women from Seventh Day Adventist Church. Yes, so we believe that teaching people skills sometimes could come out better than actually handing them money, because when you give people money, they'll use it there and then, and it will finish at some point. But when you teach somebody a skill, we believe that they would have it for the long run. Even when they do not have so much money, they're able to make something and then sell it to people, and it gives them a lot more opportunities. Yes.
Yeah, that's true. Not only opportunities, but it also gives them that feeling of the self-sustenance. You know, you feel
Yes.
confident that you can take care of yourself because you've learned a skill, and that's I commend you for that. And you know, always giving back to your community. When you add significance to service, it just makes everything worthwhile. And you know, it's many people can serve, but then do you serve correctly? And this is what you're doing: is you're serving correctly, you're being significant, you're adding value. You know, you can do an impact analysis and be able to say, no, but I taught this woman how to formulate skincare products, and now she went and registered her business, and now she's doing this. And you know, leadership is, how many times can you create a leader out of that one leader that you've created? And that's what you're doing, and I commend you for that.
Thank
What made
you.
you what drove you to choosing to go into skincare?
Okay, so it all started because my sister was experiencing, she has eczema and she was experiencing really dry skin. And she resorted, because she didn't understand what was happening with her skin, so she resorted into using lightening products, which just worsens the whole situation. You know, she started getting sunburns and all that. And I just started gaining interest and researching on how I could help her. So
Mhm.
I found small ways in which I could incorporate certain ingredients into her routines. And
Mhm.
yeah, it started helping. And, you know, people started asking about it. And that's how the whole dream started. And I was like, oh, I could actually pursue something in this, and I could actually help out more people to understand their skin better. Because, you know, the
Mhm.
problem is usually we do not understand what's happening with our skin. So we resort into using things that are harsh, things that will actually break our skins out, things that will, you know, do so much damage to the skin, when the solution could just be very easy. Something as easy as just using shea butter and someone's skin will be okay. And, you know, most people do not understand that. So that really interested me, and I went on and learned more about it, and I'm still learning. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. No, life is a series of lessons and a series of mistakes and a series of failures. And this is why I said today's topic is endurance in trials, because you try this, maybe the formulation works for this type of skin and not this type of skin. And that can only you can only find that out as you go. And you say, oh no, because your type of skin is this type, I propose that you use this. But then you can only learn that through trial and error, I suppose. Of course, you can still have the textbook to go through and say, okay, she's presenting this type of skin, she's presenting this type of problem. But then, just like doctors, you have to prescribe and hope that this will cure your ailment. You know, so it's a similar concept with you, and I really commend you. It's a very difficult industry. I've done some research on it. It's a difficult industry because you're not really sure if there's so many variant products. So let's say someone else is selling product A at this price, and then you're selling product B because you've put in so much love in your product. You find that maybe yours is you find that maybe yours is higher value, so you have to then put in a higher cost. How do you deal with that?
Okay, that's very true actually. Because when you're formulating, so there are different kinds of formulations. So there are people that are pro mix, that
Mhm.
is, they get already made products, and, you know, they would mix it up, and they
Mhm.
would brand them in such a way that would make people feel like they are making it from scratch, you know. And then there are formulators who would formulate from scratch. So you get ingredients that make you start from, like, from scratch. Yeah. So you'd find that some of these ingredients are quite difficult to source in Zambia, and you'd have to get them from other countries. And even when you find them here in the country, they're quite pricey. So when
Mhm.
you price, and then people will be like, oh, but when I got from this person it was 50 kwacha, how is yours at 150? And then
Mhm.
you'd have to start explaining, and some people won't be so convinced. And that's actually one problem that we had. But then now, most people now understands the quality of a product, and we try to,
Mhm.
to educate most of our clients with what kind of a product our product is, what kind of ingredients our product is, and also we educate them on the advantages of using our products. And when people buy, they start coming back because of the quality of the product. And
Mhm.
that's something that I've noticed even in business. The quality, like, do not alter the quality of your product just because other people are reducing their prices.
Mhm.
Let your product have value and the quality, and people will come back. Like that's I'm speaking out of experience. People always come back. I once had a client, she came and she was like, oh no, I can't get this now. And because I feel like she felt she could get it cheaper somewhere else. And she went, and
Mhm.
when she came back, her skin was, it wasn't looking so well. And she was like, oh no, now I want to start getting from you. She came back
Mhm.
because she understood that I actually sell quality. So I do
Mhm.
not compromise on that, yes. And even for other businesses, people will always come back because of the quality. Like, do not alter the quality of the product that you're selling, and people will come back. And people really appreciate that, such that even if you were to put, there are so many companies, so many big companies that
Mhm.
sell even just the same products that we sell and the same quality, and people
Mhm.
go back to them, and they're so expensive. People go back to them because of the quality of their product. Yes, so for
Mhm.
us, we've stood by having quality products, and
Mhm.
by that we are able to gain trust from so many clients. Yes.
Yes, and that's so true. Because I'll give you an example of the Body Shop. That's the only lotion that my mom uses, and she's been using it for years. So I can attest to the fact that, when you get a client loyal to a certain cream, the price doesn't really matter because they look at the value that they're deriving from it, right?
Yes.
Yes, and
Yes,
so
that,
I
that's so.
I 100% agree. I was just having a discussion with you not too long ago, and I said, for me, I don't really get like big hormonal changes when I'm pregnant, but the thing that really affects me is something called melasma. I get like a thick layer of dark. During my pregnancy, I'm fine. My complexion is fine, but after I deliver, my complexion gets very, very dark. And I'm someone who suffered from eczema growing up because I'm asthmatic. So what would you recommend for that? And I always shy away from these lightening creams because my skin is a little picky, and I love the fact that you're saying it's not lightening creams. So I like something which will keep your skin moist, because as soon as my skin gets dry, then the eczema sort of flares back up. So
Mhm.
I would like to hear from you. What would you recommend for a mom that has gone through pregnancy and then now her skin tone has changed? What would you recommend for that?
Okay, so I've had a lot of moms come to me with a similar um, problem. This usually happens because during pregnancy, the body goes through so much. It goes through so much. You're literally giving out life. So there's so many changes, and I'm just so happy that you actually understand that this is just a change that happens at a certain
Mhm.
period, and you know that it is possible for you to overcome it, right? Even
Mhm.
after. So yeah, so that's the number one thing, just understanding that this came as a result of um, you giving birth. And
Mhm.
something that I've been recommending, so we have um, a body butter that helps
Mhm.
with hyperpigmentation, dryness of skin, and then we also have different things like our body washes. So our body washes have got black soap in them, and then some of them just have got ingredients that help with hyperpigmentation. So the body butters will help you with the dryness of skin and the hyperpigmentation, and then also the oils will also help so that your skin is not dry. And then the shower gels are also moisturizing enough to help out with dry skin. So we make
Mhm.
sure that the shower gels are not drying, they're not slowing off your skin. They're
Mhm.
exfoliating, but they're not slowing off your skin. Yeah,
Mhm.
so we have those products in stock that could help with that.
Oh, that's perfect. I'll definitely give you a call. I've got a bit of
Yes.
skin discoloration. but yeah, I'm very interested in your product, and I love the fact that it's not harsh and it's really mild, and um, for me, I want to now just backtrack a little bit to where I always love to ask this question is that, we are sort of in the intersection of being mentees and being mentors. And from what you said, where you're impacting other women and teaching them how to formulate product, that's being a mentor, right? How do you go about um, mentoring, and how would you propose even to other people that want to be mentors, how would you propose they navigate that? And then as a mentee as well, because it's very important to keep learning, it's very important to keep having a mentor. um, it's very important for someone to sort of check checks and balances. It gives you accountability. So how do you navigate being a mentee and being a mentor?
Okay, so I'll start with being a mentor.
Mm,
So I think being a mentor just automatically comes when you start teaching people. Yes, because
mm,
people automatically just start looking up to you.
mm,
And, you know, I've noticed that they'll feel you know everything. And sometimes, even as a mentor, you're still learning, and
mhm,
you just give them what you know. Yeah, give them what you know. Do a lot of research. So currently as a mentor, I try my best to do so much research. So I
mhm,
research a lot as a mentor, and I'm trying to get as many small qualifications just to help me understand things better, and also so
mm.
that legally I'm able to present some of the things that I've done, and um, even
Hello. I think we
hello,
lost you.
sorry.
Yeah, we lost you a little bit there. But you were talking about how you are doing a lot of research and making sure that you've got your registrations right, which is so important. As someone who's in administration, I provide admin services, which covers also compliance. It's very important to make sure that your business is compliant because they can shut you down. Um, Especially these days, they're not really that friendly in terms of to SMEs. When you've got this thing that is not correct, immediately Zambia is very punitive. They don't really take the time to understand, okay, this is an SME and they're trying to navigate before they get things right. Everyone is just measured by the same yardstick. How have you navigated that? Do you have someone who's helping you with your compliance? Are you doing it yourself? Because you can also do it yourself, especially if you're learned enough. For me, I started off doing it for my own business. Other people get help. Oh, okay, you need to open an account. They'll help you. Someone else will help them open an account. Someone else will help them do their compliance registrations. For me, I did everything by myself, and that actually made me know that this thing is tedious. It's incredibly tedious to understand what compliance issues are in your industry. um, and then if you miss one, that's a problem because then they'll come after you with that one compliance issue that you missed. So it's important to make sure that you understand fully which your industry standards, what it is in your industry that you need to make sure you're compliant with. So how have you navigated that?
Okay, so I don't know if you know, but then in Zambia, skincare formulation and just owning skincare brands is quite new. And it's a really fast growing market.
Mhm,
And in as much as it's fast growing, we do not really have like a written down list on exactly where we are supposed to go, what registrations we need. You know, they'll tell you one registration, and then when you go somewhere, they'll tell you, ah, but you do not have this. So, so yeah. So for me right now, I do not really have somebody that understands all the registrations that we have. I've tried to find people, but then most of the times when you go there, they'll tell you one thing, and then they wouldn't know that there's this other registration. And
Mhm.
so I've had even for the bigger people that had already been formulating before me,
Mhm.
we as Zambians do not like to share. We do not like to, um, do things together. We see
Mhm.
quite right in as much as every business is a competition, but there's something that I learned from the Nigerians, like I mentioned, that they came here. They said something about collaborating and how for them the industry is really growing a lot because they're able to collaborate.
Mhm.
So as people in the same industry, we cannot really grow without actually being together. And that's something
Mhm.
that I've noticed Zambians don't have. So it's just been going from one office to another and trying to understand what papers I need, because at some point I almost registered with a certain entity that wasn't even really necessary on my part because I didn't
Mhm.
really understand. So I had to go back again and really understand where I'm supposed to go and what I actually need. And you
Mhm.
find that there are people that have already gone through it, but they're just not able to share because they
Mhm.
feel maybe you might start doing better than them, but we do not
Mhm.
understand that the market is vast and we can actually share these ideas and we can
Mhm.
help each other. Imagine just being alone as a formulator, in as much as you'll be able to grow, but if certain policies are supposed to be made as as an industry, you cannot make the policies just alone. They would ask maybe, okay, so we need maybe 10 people or we need this number of people, and you won't be able to go back to those people that you refuse to assist with just where to go and ask,
Mhm.
tell them to form a group and whatnot. And that's something
Mhm.
that I've really noticed in Zambia, in the Zambian market. And you'd
Mhm.
see other examples of people from different countries like Indians. You find they collaborate so much that their businesses grow wherever they go, because some of them are not even related, but they help each other to grow, and that's something that we do not have in Zambia. Yeah, so
Mhm.
I've just researching on my own, going to different offices and just reading around every form of certification that I need, and yeah, just learning. And to some extent, I'm grateful for that challenge because it will help me to also help out other people, even my mentees, and just other people that would like to join in the industry. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. No, I absolutely commend the fact that you're doing your research, you're doing your checks and balances. It's very important to be proactive as opposed to reactive, because when you're reactive, it can be costly. But then when you're making sure that, okay, my I's are dotted, my T's are crossed, it makes things a whole lot easier. And then you can pass that information down to your mentees, as you've correctly said.
Yes, yes, that's very true.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, and also our topic, endurance in trials.
Mhm.
You as an entrepreneur, I'm not a
Mhm.
mom yet, but a female entrepreneur, I really
Mhm.
understand that we go through so many trials. Let's
Mhm.
just start for one, menstrual cycles, and people usually talk about it, and we joke about it, but this is something that is like a big part of our lives. And you
Mhm.
went through trials, you went through menstrual cycles,
Okay, I think the internet on Faith's side has slowed down a little bit, but to preempt what she was saying, she's saying that as women, we experience so many hormonal changes. We experience so much, and then especially when you're going through a pregnancy, your hormones are just everywhere because you're creating life. So that life is taking from you, taking from you. It's taking your nutrients, taking changing your hormones, changing who you are. And my sister always says that the person who goes into the delivery room is not the person that comes out. And so this is something which is really, really true. And it's very important to make sure that, as you're going through this, um, these are trials every month. Oh, okay, I've got a backache. Oh, I've got a neck ache. Oh, my stomach. Oh, my this. Oh, my that. And as a mom, or even as a female entrepreneur, you go through so many trials. You go through people doubting that you can do it. You go through people not appreciating what you're doing. You go through um, these feelings of self-doubt. And so when someone when someone or something comes in and says, oh, okay, this is what you're doing wrong, or this you're not doing enough, or you're going through trials, or you try this business and it fails, it's always get up, fail forward, learn from your mistakes, learn from your experiences, because then that's when you can become a mentor. You can't become a mentor without having gone through different things in your business. I, for one, am able to mentor and I'm able to speak to different entrepreneurs of different levels, different companies, sizes, because I've been burnt. This is not something I shy away from. Um, I've been burned, I've gone through trials, but the one thing that someone can take away from me is the fact that I have endurance, the fact that I will keep fighting until I win. I've, there's so much joy that comes out of having gone through something and then getting back up and doing it again. And what makes the difference, and even from Faith's story, is that you can have, you grow from it. You start thinking broader. You start thinking, okay, what are my distribution channels? And her, then she's looking at distribution channels by her, then impacting other people in different communities, because then that is then spreading what it is that she's doing. So as an entrepreneur, don't be afraid to fail, because investors particularly like women. They like women and female entrepreneurs who've failed before, because then you will not be wasting their money, you will not be experimenting as much, because okay, when I did this in my previous business, this is what happened. So you make sure that you are fully registered, like she's mentioned, you're fully registered, just in case anything happens, then the liability is to the company and not to you directly. These are things that maybe other entrepreneurs who are just starting wouldn't necessarily know. So pick a mentor, pick someone who you trust, pick someone who is going to have your best interest. Ride on the shoulders of giants. I'm on this platform because I'm riding on the shoulders of giants. Rev Water, Dr. Nelly, Dr. Sylvia Mutale Mwansa. This is a platform that has been created because I am not afraid to ride on the shoulders of giants. And you might see, okay, every Wednesday she's there, she's for those that have been following from the first time I started doing this, the first time I wasn't even ready. I had to use an avatar until a friend of mine said, no, but we want to support you, but we need to see you. So I said, okay, no, let me be present. Let me make sure that I am looking well. Let me make sure that I've done my hair. Let me make sure that, or if I haven't done my hair, I'll make sure that I'm looking presentable, just so that I can then deliver what it is within me, that I know that, mompreneurs, female entrepreneurs, we can drive this country. We can drive this country. We can do so much. And for me, I would just like to say a big thank you to the women that are doing something. I commend you. I thank you. And don't be afraid to try. Don't be afraid to do it. Don't, you know. I am rooting for you. If you have one woman in your corner, even let's say you've done your business it has failed. You're there, you're crying. Oh, okay, my stock, all of it has perished. All of it has this. I'm stuck with this. I bought rice and no one is buying my rice. Oh, I bought blankets, no one is buying my blankets. You know, you can do it. Join a community. Join a community. And this is what Digi Directory and under Digi Business Zambia is about. You know, so join a community, get your mindset right, get more information about the mindset change process. Every Wednesday I'll be here, and if you want to be featured, you can DM me and I'll be able to feature you so that you can have your business and talk about your business. Every opportunity to talk about your business is you getting your business out there, you getting more people, you reaching more clients. So please have this in mind. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Hello? Okay, so it looks like I'm still live. It's supposed to be from 8 to 8:30. So maybe I can tell a story. When I was younger and I didn't necessarily know what business to get into, I went to my mom and I said, okay, look, for me, I've always been a career person and I had the aspiration to be bank governor. And I communicated this to my mom and I said, okay, I want to be bank governor. And she introduced me to Dr. Caleb Fundanga. And she said, okay, since you want to be an economist and you want to be bank governor, you have to be reading these pink papers. So I got these pink papers every week. I think it was every week or every so often. And I would read them. And this was a young girl. I think I was about 18 or 16 or so. And she'd say, look, for when whatever you want, the teacher is always there. So the only person that can determine what you want is yourself, you know? And she said, okay, keep doing this. So I went then to study, and I was one of the few economists that graduated my class. I graduated in Australia. And this for me was testament to the fact that, you know, I am someone who, once I put my mind to something, I make sure that I see it through. And so this presented such an amazing opportunity for me. And then I worked for 10 years in the banking and finance sector. I then went to form a business called Kickstarter. Kickstarter, I had to rename it because there's a Kickstarter that does, it's how can I say? It's an American company that helps fund SMEs. So I said, okay, no, I can't really call it that because it will be conflicts. And if I wanted to grow, I can't grow with that name. So I then formed the Salome Trust Initiative and the Salome Fund. And most of those, especially those who are close to me or those that follow me, you know how that ended. I had to, with tears, close the business. You know, I had done it for 4 5 years and it was working, and a lot of SMEs came out of there. I funded a lot of SMEs. A lot of people, even up to today, they always say, oh no, yours was so great. The way you ran things, the way you did things. And they just said, oh no, thank you so much. But that chapter, I've closed that chapter. And then in the most recent time, I created Digi Business Zambia. And this is just an explanation of me failing forward. Always fail forward. So I just keep moving and moving and moving. And I haven't lost the dream of being a venture capitalist. And once I have the sufficient capital to be a venture capitalist, then I still will. And this, for me, is to be more equity based as opposed to loans, because loans, I don't think our country is ready for loans. Our credit culture is not so great. But I feel being an equity partner in most of the businesses that women are coming up with now, is going to be great. You know, a woman is perseverant, they're tenacious. If you can get pregnant and go through the whole 9 months incubation period with your baby and deliver a baby and have that baby start walking, be patient. They get into toddler stage, you teach them how to be potty trained, you teach them how to do this. And then from potty training stage, then they grow and they then go to school. Um, you have to help them with their homework, their activities, and all these. And then after that, they become an adult. What will stop you from growing your business? You've already shown the world that you're capable of growing a human being, Moilantu. A human being. If you can grow a human being within you, birth it, and bring it towards being even an adult. Like we were talking with my mom yesterday, we had a beautiful conversation where she was talking about how, you know, having conversations and candid conversations is so important. So for me, I'd just love to commend my mom. I know I'm always talking about her, but I wouldn't be who I am without her. I wouldn't be perseverant. I wouldn't be tenacious. I wouldn't be the person. Sometimes in certain circles, I'm too much, you know, but it's okay. It's okay to be too much. Why? How can I pour from my cup if it's not overflowing? How? I can't. So let me pour into my own cup so that when my cup overflows, then it can pour into others. So it's fine to be too much. It's okay. For me, when I'm told, okay, we need this, I'll be that one person who will make sure that that letter is written and delivered, and you know, I can push and make sure that the business is working. You know, I'm someone who you can count on. When you put your funds in me, it becomes something. Welcome back, Faith.
Thank you.
Thank you for a monologue because I was just waiting for you to be. I think we have about 5 more minutes. So if there's something that you would want to say, um, you can say it. As a female entrepreneur, I commend you for what you're doing. It's amazing. You're still a
Thank
mompreneur.
Yes, definitely. Just Yes, so I was basically talking about endurance in trials, and I was saying, as a woman, our our trials start from very young. You know, navigating our menstrual cycles, navigating having children, and balancing, the times, and because I have nieces and nephews, and I'm usually there when my sister gives birth and through the process. And like last time, she had a C-section, and I could see how she was struggling but still being there and being strong. And I'd just like to commend every woman, every mom there out there, that you're very strong, you're very, like, you have the abilities, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. I feel like the biggest testimony of a woman is just being a woman.
Yes,
That Bible verse really speaks to us as being able to do so many things, and that is how I'm able to even do most of the things that I'm able to do right now. you know uh, I believe that whatever I put my mind to, I'm able to achieve it, even though I go through so many trials. Just a backstory of how I got to win the pitching session. In that period, my mom was seriously sick in the hospital, so I had to like take time and come. And then when I came home, I just switched. I changed my mind. I blocked out everything and just concentrated on that one thing for, I think it was about 30 minutes. Yeah, about 30. The whole session was about 30 minutes to an hour. And I just believed that I was going to do it. And that even brings us to even my business. It's something that a lot of people are learning about now and are going into it, and you just have to be courageous. It's something that is new, and a lot of people are just testing the waters because it's making a lot of noise and all that. And I'll just like to advise every mom and every female out there to just start. If you're interested in something, just start. Like, sometimes we wait until we have all the capital that we have, but then we forget that the most important thing is to start, and to start building a story. And then also, we also get so much experience from even starting with nothing, like, because actually you cannot start from nothing, because there's so much information out there. Even you
Mhm.
just learning about something is you starting. Even
Mhm.
just learning, even just asking a question, even just asking people who are already there, how they got there, that is you starting. And you
Mhm.
understanding also that entrepreneurship is not just about selling and buying things and all that you have to constantly keep learning. And there's so many other entities. Already we talked about registration, we talked
Mhm.
about, you mentioned bookkeeping. That's
Mhm.
something for me that comes from the science world. you know um, some of those things are things that I'm just understanding now. And if I said, no, because all I know is just science, I wouldn't be
Mhm.
where I am right now.
Mhm.
So I've been going for seminars. I'm understanding a bit of accountancy here and there. I'm understanding so many things now, because I'm like, no one will come and teach me all these things if I do not go out there to learn. So, as an
Mhm.
entrepreneur, you have to keep learning. You have to start from somewhere. I started with one product, I increased to two products, and right now I have about eight products, and I'm still
Mhm.
learning. And still, some of the products are still in testing. We're still testing them, and
Mhm.
yeah, so it just starts from where you are right now. Today you can start something. It could even just be you learning. It could be you asking questions, and you just putting your interest out there. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree, and it's great. Yeah, it's so great, and you know, I even I'm at a loss of words for how powerful this conversation has been, and how female entrepreneurship is something which more people need to advocate for.